Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall, here giving my reaction to the huge world title fight that was announced by Mike Coppinger at Ring Magazine that Keith Thurman, the former welterweight world champion, will challenge the super welterweight WBC king Sebastian Fundora on October 25th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Yeah, this is a really interesting fight. Of course, Keith Thurman on the comeback trail, and now he's in for a world title. And of course, Sebastian Fundora riding the crest of a wave at the minute of his own right. So yeah, the Terror and Inferno against Keith one time Thurman. I'll be giving my thoughts on what I think of the fight and who I think will come out on top in that one. Yeah, but before we get into things, please don't forget, first of all, to drop a like on this video if you enjoy the content. We'd really appreciate it. Secondly, if you're not doing so already, hit that subscribe button and give us a subscribe at ESBR Boxing and follow us on all social media platforms as well. Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Always great content coming out on a regular basis. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get into it. Yeah, Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman, it's on. The news broke kind of last night by Mike Coppinger, as I say, and yeah, this is a really interesting one. You've got Sebastian Fundora last time out, proving that his first win over Tim Zoo wasn't a wasn't a fluke. Wasn't a flash in the pan performance, or wasn't due to the cut that that Zoo suffered, of course, in the first fight. Yeah, both fought in the Pacquiao Barrios undercard, and Sebastian Fundora dominated Tim Zoo. Dropped him and really was dominating him until Tim Zoo. We all saw how that ended. Discussions need to be had about Tim Zoo, but that's a video for another day. Refusing to come out of his corner in the end in that one. So Sebastian Fundora getting the stoppage win over Zoo, and yeah, hugely impressive performance, and he silenced a lot of doubters since that first fight against Zoo last year. Of course, that bloodbath when a lot of people thought the cut was the sole reason that Fundora got it done. But credit to him, it was a brilliant performance last year. Defended the title against Chordale Booker, of course, underwhelming enough opponent, but got the job done. And then yeah, made a case of repeat rather than revenge against Tim Zoo last time out. So yeah, Sebastian Fundora, of course, really coming into his own now. The anomaly, the Terror and Inferno, so big, so rangy. He's such an awkward fighter to deal with at 154 pounds. How he even makes the weight, I don't know. But yeah, he's bounced back from the loss, the big KO loss against Brian Mendoza to win world titles, and stake his claim as arguably the best in the division at the minute. And it is a stacked division. It really is. So it's no mean feat that, but you can't argue if you have Sebastian Fundora as your best super welterweight in the world. And yeah, facing Keith Thurman, Keith one time Thurman. Very interesting last few years of Keith Thurman's career. Of course, there was a stage where he probably was the best welterweight in the world, not named Floyd Mayweather. He was on a real tear. Really exciting fighter on his day. Aggressive, powerful puncher, but can also box. And he was really on the fringes of kind of cracking that welterweight division. We've seen him get big wins over the likes of Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, and compiling his unbeaten record. Then he came up against Manny Pacquiao. We all saw what happened there. An excellent performance from Manny Pacquiao, who was an underdog, in the back nine of his career. Had seen better days, but dropped and beat Keith Thurman on points. So yeah, huge win for Manny Pacquiao, huge upset for Keith Thurman to deal with, and he's never quite been the same since that. Large spells of inactivity. Um, he's fought most recently against Brock Jarvis, but that was his first fight in 3 years, and before that he fought Mario Barrios and looked very underwhelming against Barrios, who, although a world champion now, we've seen in the Manny Pacquiao performance, he's not the strongest world champion in the sport, should we say? But yeah, Thurman looked underwhelming, got the job done. Came back 3 years later. Then, as I say, Brock Jarvis beat Brock Jarvis earlier this year, but that's no benchmark of if he's still world level. Brock Jarvis, first of all, not a super welterweight, a super lightweight really has chin problems. Keith Thurman blasted him out in 3 rounds. So yeah, that's absolutely no benchmark or no warm up for a fight against somebody like Sebastian Fundora, who has that world level experience over the last few years, fighting the likes of Erickson Lubin, Brian Mendoza, Tim Tszyu twice, Chordale Booker, really going through the fire, and testing himself and proving himself at a world level. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough night for Keith Thurman. So yeah, in terms of the fight itself, as I say, I'm a big Keith Thurman fan, or I was a big Keith Thurman fan in his prime at 147. Excuse me. Yeah, welterweight, former welterweight world champion. As I say, really exciting fighter. We saw the wars he had with Porter and Danny Garcia. He could box, he could punch, he was aggressive, and he was exciting and he's charismatic. He still is charismatic. You either love him or hate him, but he's an exciting fighter in his day. But he has improved that his day is, his kind of prime is still there. He's 36 now, I believe, which is not a young man, and he's up at 154. He's never proven himself at 154, being largely inactive, as I say. And yeah, I just think he'll need a miracle to win this, to be honest with you. This will be a big, big upset, in my opinion. As I say, the difference in levels between both men over the last couple of years has been extraordinary. Fundora being active and winning against, well, for the large part, winning against world level opposition. And Keith Thurman just hasn't been and hasn't looked great since the Manny Pacquiao loss. It's really derailed his career, and that's a number of years ago now. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Can Keith Thurman roll back the clock? I don't think so. I think Sebastian Fundora will get a stoppage here. I think Thurman might outbox Fundora early, but I think Fundora will just start to bully him, start to push him around, and will really beat him up badly and stop him in the later rounds. Kind of, I'll say 6 to 8. He'll get a stoppage. As I say, I think it needs a miracle for Keith Thurman here to get the win. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting build up with the charisma of Keith Thurman. What he has to say about Sebastian Fundora. It's going to be a fun build up, and hopefully it has the potential to be a funner fight than I'm making it out to be. But yeah, I think Fundora gets it done. And then in terms of what's next, who knows? As I say, it's a stacked division. You've got, first of all, Terence Crawford. I don't know if Terence Crawford will be back after the Canelo fight. Win, lose or draw. I don't know if he'll be back after that. But you still have the likes of Virgil Ortiz Jr., Bakram Murtazaliev, Madrimov, Xander Zayas, now world champion. Really phenomenal division, and one of the most stacked divisions of boxing at the top end. It's outstanding. As I say, Fundora you could make an argument that Fundora is the best. Of course, Jerron Ennis up now. You know, how could I forget another kind of big fighter to throw into the fire at 154 pounds. So yeah, it's one of the best, probably my favorite division in boxing at the minute. So hopefully, if Fundora comes through this, which I expect him to, we see more of those big fights against the likes of, Enes Zayas, Ortiz, Madrimov, maybe Crawford. Who knows? It's going to be a really interesting future for the Tower and Inferno. But first of all, he has to get past Keith one-time Thurman, the former world champion, will challenge Fundora for his WBC super welterweight world title. October 25th, I beg your pardon. It's been confirmed. MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Sure to be an exciting night. Be interesting to see what the undercard looks like for that one also. But yeah, big time world title boxing back in Vegas, October 25th. That was just my quick reaction to the news. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. What do you make of this fight? Are you giving Keith Thurman more of a chance than I am? Can he pull off what I think would be a tremendous upset? Let us know what you think. Get involved down below. And as always, as I said at the start of the video, don't forget to drop a like on the video first of all. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing and follow us on all social media. Until next time, take care.